One bullish setup, 3 different strike prices, 3 very different trades. Same direction, very different risk-reward profiles. Today, how moneyness shapes the trade and how to choose the strike. Moneyness is just the strike's position relative to the stock price. If the strike sits at the spot price, the call is at the money, ATM. If the strike sits below the spot, the call is in the money, ITM. The option already has intrinsic value. If the strike sits above the spot, the call is out of the money, OTM. The option is pure time value. Puts work in reverse. A put is ITM when the strike sits above the spot, OTM when it sits below. Moneyness shapes everything: the price of the option, the probability of profit, and how much downside you are risking. Every option premium has 2 components: intrinsic value and extrinsic value. Intrinsic value is what the option is worth right now if you exercised it. For an ITM call, it is the difference between the spot and the strike. Apple is at 150. The 145 call has $5 of intrinsic value baked in. Exercise right now and you pocket 5. Extrinsic value, also called time value, is everything else you are paying. Time, volatility, the chance the stock moves further in your favor. If that 145 call costs $6 total, 5 is intrinsic, 1 is extrinsic. The dollar of extrinsic is what time and volatility are charging you. An OTM call has 0 intrinsic value. Every dollar of premium is extrinsic, pure time and probability. ITM options are mostly intrinsic. OTM options are pure extrinsic. ATM sits between and is the most sensitive to time decay. Same setup, Apple at 150. Same direction, bullish, 3 different strikes. Strike 145 in the money, premium $6, already $5 of intrinsic value baked in. Strike 150 at the money, premium $3, pure time value. Strike 155 out of the money, premium $1, the cheapest but also the longest shot. Notice as you move out of the money, premium drops sharply, but it becomes pure extrinsic. You are paying entirely for time and the chance of a big move. Cheaper option, lower probability of profit. Pricier option, higher probability but bigger downside in dollars. There's a quick way to think about probability: delta. Delta tells you how much the option moves for a $1 move in the stock. ITM call delta around 70, ATM call around 50, OTM call around 30, higher delta, higher probability, and higher cost. Delta lines up with the cost trade-off. The probability you are paying for is exactly the probability of profit. Place the 3 trades side by side. ITM gives you the highest probability of profit, but you pay the most upfront, biggest dollar loss if wrong. ATM is balanced. Moderate cost, moderate probability, moderate break-even distance. OTM is the lottery ticket. Cheapest, lowest probability but biggest percentage payoff if it hits. Strike choice is a risk-reward dial. You set it based on how confident you are and how much you're willing to risk. Now, how do you actually pick your strike inside ArcAlpha? First, how strong is the directional setup? Strong conviction can justify the higher premium of an ITM strike. Lower conviction, an OTM ticket caps your downside while you wait for confirmation. Second, does ARC flow show aligned institutional flow? Aligned flow boosts confidence in the directional read. Opposing flow is a warning to size smaller or pick a cheaper OTM strike. Third, ARC flow surfaces unusual flow at specific strikes. Heavy bullish flow concentrated at one strike often signals where institutions expect the move to land. That is a real-world data point you can use to align your strike. Fourth, implied volatility context. When ARC flow shows IV elevated, premiums everywhere are inflated. Consider an OTM strike to keep the dollar cost lower. Fifth, earnings proximity. If earnings are days away, vigor risk is elevated. Either time the trade outside the IV crush window or use a longer-dated ITM to dilute the impact. Setup quality, ARC flow direction. ARC flow strike concentration, IV context, earnings proximity. 5 data points, read them together and your strike falls out of the picture. Next in this track, the Greeks. Delta, theta, vega, gamma, the 4 forces moving every option. All ArcAlpha educational content is for informational purposes only. None of this is a recommendation to buy or sell any security.